Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You shall not pass!
No, I am the father.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hello, I'm your host Jim McLean. Welcome back to another episode of More Than Pixels on a Screen, a podcast brought to you by the Bandaflix Movie Review website. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Adam Neeson.
What's happening, Jim?
And for anyone who doesn't realise, when I'm editing this pod, occasionally I'll find the sexy, dulcet, wheezy tones of Mr. Neeson creeping into the audio.
I've got bad asthma.
I know, I feel bad. Well, I should feel bad, but I don't.
No.
It's a very sensuous thing. What can I say?
But you should hear me. This is going to sound weird. You should hear me sleeping.
Well, from a previous podcast, we know you sleep.
Yep, chip, 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 chip.
We know that's how you sleep.
Of course.
So you just act Jesus. So the new investment that I'm pleased to announce with Bandaflix is Adam's Sleep Cam. You get to watch Adam while he sleeps.
Do you remember Big Brother back in the day?
Yeah.
Did you ever sit and watch them
Yeah.
sleep? Like, why did we do that?
I remember vividly we would come back from nights out and be like, here guys, tune on to Big Brother, see what they're doing. And it's like 3 or 4 in the morning and they're all asleep. And occasionally someone would maybe scratch their arse in their sleep and you kind of turn into Leo from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh, whoop, whoop. You turn into, oh, he's moving. Or one of them got up for a pee.
I always remember, because sometimes I'd watch them during the day, because it's weird that they had live cams all day. But it would be like, say like, who's a famous Big Brother? Nasty Nick.
Yeah. Boo, boo.
Would-
Him and his pencil.
Would be like, yeah, so I used to work in... And that's all you would hear for about 20 minutes. You're like, I wanted to listen.
Yeah, I want to know where he worked. Wonder what Nasty Nick's doing right now. Being nasty somewhere.
I was actually, I seen a Twitter trend yesterday of Pop Idol.
Right.
Was it? Yeah, Pop Stars The Idol. Mm-hmm. And who was the nasty one on that?
Oh, I know who it is, but it was another Simon, but it wasn't Simon Cowell.
Yeah. Well, he has been arrested for being a bad man.
Oh. And hang on, just tell me what he's doing now. What exactly he's been arrested for?
Well, actually, he got caught.
There we go. If it's good enough for Channel 4, it's good enough for us.
Good enough for us, man.
Yeah, but you won't get that type of thing on Adam's Sleep Cam.
No. You will just get yip, 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 yip. And me sleeping on a cloud.
Yes. So more importantly, though, I know it's now 4 episodes deep by the time this podcast has actually went out. You're very excited about, are you excited about the return of everyone's favourite Time Lord from Gallifrey? And I think it's a perfect time, Adam, for another Adam Neeson jingle. Hey. 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 So, yes, Doctor Who, he's back. Ncuti Gatwa is now, this is the 14th Doctor?
15th?
15th, because there's...
Tennant counts as 2.
Yeah, I forgot about that's the one that kind of cuts me out. So, I've only seen, as we record right now, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. A little bit underwhelmed. We had Space Babies, and then we had the Beatles.
We had knockoff Poundland Beatles.
Yes, knockoff Poundland Beatles, and a villain a bit suspiciously reminiscent of Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I was really excited when they said that Jinx Monsoon was a big... I don't know if you know this about me, Jim, but I'm a big drag queen fan.
Right.
And I was really excited when they said...
Is that why you're sitting here in a kind of full corset, 6-inch heels?
You were like, is that
Is that Adam?
is that Lily Savage?
What would your drag name be?
You've got my brain is thinking. All I was thinking was my name's going to be Up on My Hole. That's not a name. I was excited for Jinx Monsoon to join Doctor Who because I thought that would be very exciting. But then it ended up that the Maestro ended up just being a lot like Neil Patrick Harris's
Yeah.
character. And I had a critique of the show, and I don't want this to be, because people are obviously like, oh, they're using pronouns, blah, like they're using drag queens. That's where
Davros isn't in a wheelchair anymore. What the fuck's up with that, guys?
yeah, there's a lot of people complaining, and they can all fuck off.
I'm really fucking annoyed that the TARDIS is now wheelchair accessible.
Yeah, like who cares?
Yeah.
But the show to me kind of feels pantomime in the acting. I don't mean that by Jinx Monsoon being like, oh, pantomime. The acting of Shooty and the other girl, is it Millie? I feel it feels over rehearsed, and I don't know if it's because this Millie girl can't act. Because there was a scene in the Beatles episode where she looks like wistful, like up into the air, and then all of a sudden, like on a dime, her face just stops acting, and I was like, is she okay? I can't put my finger on what it is, and I've watched the third episode. I know you haven't, and it was the Stephen Moffat episode. And
Which I've heard has got good reviews.
it's a more serious tone, but
It's a great premise in the sense that he can't move for the entirety of the episode. He steps on a landmine.
yeah. And I don't know.
Which sounds great. And it sounds very much, right, okay, Stephen Moffat, we know you can do these kind of episodes in your sleep.
And there's a lot of stuff that is good in it, but I don't know. It feels like forced chemistry between the two.
Well, we know that there's going to be another companion in the second series, although our current companion, all the rumours that she was going to leave, I think she's going to be there, but she might not be as prominent. I'm not quite sure, because I've seen Space Babies, and is the second one just called Maestro, or
I'm not too sure what it's called.
the Beatles one? That's
Yeah.
what they've called it. And I'll not lie, I had a little nap during Space Babies. I woke up, and there was like, okay, Shooty Gatwa. I really like him
Yeah.
as the Doctor, and I'm tired of saying this. He's really good as the Doctor. She's really good as the Doctor, but the writing's just not there. But I don't know about you, when it was the anniversary, 50th anniversary, 60th or 50th?
60th.
Because the 50th was David Tennant and Matt Smith, which
Yeah.
was a great episode, because I went to see that in the cinema. But for the 60th anniversary, BBC put all the old episodes up on iPlayer, and I'm one of these foolish people who used to buy the Doctor Who series on iTunes, and you could sit and watch them. And I went back and watched some of the early Eccleston Davis era stuff, and it's very similar. Like that Space Babies episode was very similar. Do you remember the one, the plastics?
Yeah, that's the
Not the bad girls from the Mean Girls, not the Mean Girls, not Doctor Who taking on the Mean Girls, but it was like this kind of weird. They were like mannequins that came to life.
yeah. It was the first episode, Rose.
Yeah, Rose, that was it. And I guess Davis is kind of treating this as, and I think they've done that in the market, like it's series 1, they're kind of going
Yeah.
back to basics. And I either heard an interview or read an interview where he talked about the idea for Space Babies was to bring new people on board, but also an opportunity in the kind of a way it was structured, without going too much into spoilers and talking too much about the bogeyman. Ugh. But they wanted it to be an episode that the Doctor would talk and open up
Yeah.
to his new companion, and it kind of makes sense. I just find it reminded me a lot of in terms of that episode, of one of the most hated episodes of Doctor Who ever with Peter Kay.
Oh yeah, remind me of that.
And
as
it
well.
reminded me of that, and I was like, if this is what Davis is going to serve up, it's like, oh no. I thought the second episode was much better, but still in that sense of,
had our cell in it.
yeah, it did indeed. I was thinking about you when I was going to text you, actually, but I don't know. I haven't seen the third episode, so I can't judge. And I know by the time this episode goes out, I've been a fourth episode, and it feels like in no time at all. It's the end of June. You're going to have the finale.
And they're showing it in the cinema.
Yes, they are. So I guess now there's a lot of money with Doctor Who, because Disney's now on board distributing it outside of the UK. You can see the bigger budget is there. I just don't want to be that person. And we've had this now with Jodie Whittaker. to an extent with some episodes with Capaldi, and well, not really. Well, I suppose if I'm honest, the last season with Matt Smith going, he's great. It's just the writing is a bit meh.
Yeah.
I still think, Stephen Moffat's first season in charge with Matt Smith is probably even as much as I'm the person who wept like a silly little boy when David Tennant left Doctor Who. I remember it's just what I've watched Doctor Who. I mean, I came to Doctor Who probably through Sylvester McCoy when I was younger.
My summer romance.
Yes, listen back to previous podcasts. And I remember taking it when it was Eccleston. I thought was good because he was only for one season. You never really got emotionally attached to him. Some people did, I'm sure. And that kind of the cockiness of what's his regeneration line? Is it like I was great?
Fantastic.
I was fantastic. Then we get to Tennant, and Tennant was there for 3 seasons, maybe 4.
It was like 3 and like the
3
sort of
the
specials.
And the last series, I remember when he regenerates, and isn't it Bernard Cribbins is there, and he'll knock 3 times, and I think it was the line, I don't want to go. I was sitting in the sofa, unsurprisingly, it wasn't like sitting in midair, and I was sitting on the sofa, and I just burst into tears, and I was like, Jesus, wow. And then I was like, when you first see Doctor Who, or you first see Matt Smith as the Doctor, it's like, oh, he's going to be terrible.
You're like, what's his big head doing?
He's going to be terrible. But then I thought he was amazing. That first season with him, and then Moffat. It's weird how Doctor Who, they all seem to react to each other. So the first series had they were great standalone episodes, but there was that underlying theme that went through, and then you seen him going back. Well, I'm trying my best not to spoil it. I know it's a really old series. And then in the final episode, you see him going back on his own timeline, and it's like, oh, this is so clever! Oh my god, it's amazing. And then the second season, they had The Silence, which was a great Stephen Moffat creation. It's like they're villains. You look away, you forget about them completely.
Yeah.
But then they tried too hard to connect everything.
It was the whole astronaut season, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It tried too hard to connect everything, and then after that, they were like, "Oh, we're not going to do anything. It's just going to be standalone episodes." There was like dinosaurs on a spaceship and all that stuff. Then we have Capaldi. I loved Capaldi as the Doctor. I just think it never. There's great episodes like the Zygon and Flex in the episode where then they don't know who's human and who's a Zygon.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Good
And
stuff.
Heaven Sent
So good.
is amazing. Jodie Whittaker, I thought Jodie Whittaker was a great choice for the Doctor. I just never liked Chibnall's, or whatever you call him, his writing. We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, it seems to be that there's an underlying story with this season and with
Oh, the companion.
with the companion and well, the fact that we don't even really know her name, like what's her
Yeah.
name? Is it Sunday? Ruby Sunday.
Ruby.
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 And I don't know. I've seen.
Have you any theories at this point that probably by the time the 4th episode's out, there's a massive reveal, and you're like, well, I look like a dick.
Well, isn't the underlying theory that she's the master? Isn't
The
that
daughter's the master, or the Ruby's the master?
yeah, that's the underlying theory because there's been so many like lines and references back to
Because
the
I'd
master.
heard that she was she's River Song's daughter, or she could be Amy and what's his face's
Rory.
daughter? Yeah, Rory.
I really hope.
Or don't
not.
forget, you've also got the Doctor's daughter as well. That everyone kind of forgets about.
Well, they made a reference.
We are so nerding out
I
now.
know. We made a reference, or they made a reference to it in the Beatles episode where he's like, "My granddaughter's out there somewhere."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, why they bring that up? And then also that actress keeps cropping up in every
Yes.
episode.
Apparently, Davis says that's going to be explained.
She's very prevalent in the 3rd episode.
Okay.
Or like her face is like right. It's one of those ones where it's like if you haven't noticed her, you'll definitely notice her now.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think this will become a regular feature. I know that next week we're going to do our first Ramble cast edition of More Than Pixels on the Screen. And anyone who's ever been listening to this podcast going, what, you're doing an episode that's rambly, isn't all on fucking rambly? But no, this is extra special Ramble.
This is fucking ramble and custard.
I think that's what we should call it. More than pixels on a screen, the Rambling Custard Edition.
Oh, fucking right.
I think that's what we should do.
They make a reference in the third episode to fish fingers and custard, which was very nice.
So as anyone knows, just because I shamelessly plug, I read the news at Q, and they all know, anyone who listens will know I'm the nerdy one, because a couple of times, I remember when they announced Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor, I came in and was doing the news and kind of talking about this, our favourite Gallifreyan Time Lord is back. Hopefully he's not, hopefully he's got a good sonic screwdriver and he knows how to drive the TARDIS. And there was Connor and Amy doing the breakfast show, and they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And about 15 minutes, they were talking about food that day, and someone came in, and Connor, like, I was in my news booth getting ready for the bulletin, and Connor just opened the door. He's like, Jim, some guy just messaged in, I forget what the context was, but about food, weird combinations. He's like, he loves fish fingers and custard, and he said, you'll understand. It's like, I understand.
My brother.
I understand. I know exactly. So yes, I think we'll do this regularly when it's you and I. We'll carry on our little kind of Doctor Who reviews on the current series. But I think we should move on, and I think we should get stuck into this week's movie of choice. And we should at this point say, happy birthday to you.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you. Actually, whoa, what's this? Hello there. How are you, Marty? I haven't heard you in ages. I just want to talk about money. Can we talk about it after the pub? Here, come on in.
Right, Marty?
Oh, God, and what about you?
Right.
Actually, Marty, funny you're here because you've got a great singing voice. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. You know, sometimes I do like to do a wee Elvis tune now and again. That's all right, and Burn the Ghetto. But would you like, Marty, to sing Adam happy birthday? Fellow who loves, Cilla Black and stuff. Like, yeah. We can't get Cilla Black in to sing her happy birthday, but would you sing him happy birthday? Or would you like me to sing you happy birthday?
Marty, there's nothing I love more than for you to sing me happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much. Don't know. Well, thank you very much, Adam. Let me just clear the old throat here. La 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 la. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Jim, what's his name again? Adam. Happy birthday, dear Adam.
Thanks, Marty.
There we go. Is that all you really wanted me in for this wee skit? It's like, yeah, it was, to be honest with you, Marty, it was something I just literally thought in the second. I'm going to blame the Red Bull. Oh, it's all right. Well, Jim, we'll talk about the money after the pod. Aye, no bother. Adam, happy birthday, big lad.
Thanks, mate.
And have a good one. And if you're going to dress up as Scylla again, on you down to the store, son.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marty.
All right, bye, Marty.
Bye, Marty.
Oh, Lord. So, sorry, excuse that. We apologise. This episode's going out on your birthday. So, you had loads of movies to choose from.
Yeah.
So, at one point, we were doing a Muppets double bill.
Which I thought would have been great, but then it would have been people just listening to us singing, I'm number one.
You're number two.
That would have been it for an hour.
Yeah, and I think I think that people know that's what they expect from us.
Yeah.
That's the level we're at. We thought maybe you'd do a bit of Good Burger, because
I've threatened it.
You've threatened it. You've wanted a Good Burger special for quite some time. Mm-hmm. There was other movies you talked about as well.
I was like, come on, we'll do a David Lynch.
Yeah.
But we'll keep that for later.
I think at one point, was it going to be a David Lynch Muppets Most Wanted double bill? Like, that's a combination. Tell our listeners, because they're, going back to last week with our Rocky Horror Pod, they're sitting on anticipation of what movie you want us to talk about for your birthday.
I think it's time, Jim, to take a trip down the Fury Road.
I like what you did there.
Thank you.
What a lovely day it is to go down Fury Road as well. What a glorious day. Don't know where I went that with. I've got this voice and I can't lose it. I'm like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. Step in time. There we go. Fixed. Adam's literally looking going, what the fuck?
I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So yes, we're going to be talking about Fury Road because as we record, neither you and I have seen Furiosa,
Yeah.
but we're going to be going seeing it over the weekend.
It's very much on my I've been waiting for this for years list.
I have been nervous about Furiosa because I'm just like, I know we'll talk about this when we're discussing Fury Road. The fact that studios were so worried about Fury Road and they were so kind of reacting against George Miller, going, "What the fuck are you making out in the desert?"
Yeah.
And I know Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron probably felt like that for some time, going, "What the fuck are you making?" This time it feels like that risk factor is not there because they're like, "Yeah, we just, George, just do another wee Fury Road for us." But I've read a couple of reviews and it's like, oh, okay, some are even saying Furiosa's better
I've heard.
than Fury Road. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll probably be we will be discussing it on the next TV show, so tune in for that. But for this episode, we're going to be talking 2015 with Mad Max Fury Road. Before you hear Adam and I chat about the film, let's play a clip.
I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. Hunted by scavengers. Haunted by those I could not protect. So I exist in this wasteland. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
So that's a clip of Mad Max Fury Road, George Miller's directorial masterpiece, cinematic masterpiece, if you want to go so far. So this was the fourth entry in the Mad Max franchise. I guess we will at some point in this pod discuss the previous entries. We can't discuss Furiosa at this stage. So what made you pick this film, Adam, for your birthday?
Well, the fact that Fury Road kind of came out around my birthday in 2015 was a big factor for me.
How old were you then?
2015, I would have been just turning 22.
There we go. I thought he was going to get paper out there. Get the tongue out and everything going, no. I don't know. Where's the calculator?
I seen this in the cinema and was blown away by it. And then whenever I came out of it, I thought I should do something nice for once. And I should take
How long
my...
that last till you got out of the cinema and you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to go back to being a
I actually
cunt.
kicked a child on the way out. I thought I should take my dad to come see Fury Road.
Okay.
Because he was kind of the guy that got me into cinema. And also, I just remember being a young kid and him showing me Die Hard and me being like, I like films now. I specifically remember the moment in Die Hard when when he walks past the locker and it's like, sorry girls, and he covers the thing. And I remember looking at my dad to be like, oh no, should I be watching this? And my dad was like, laughing his head off.
It's all right, son.
So it was kind of like a special moment for me to bring my dad to see Fury Road because it was kind of me being an adult, being so big in the cinema, bringing him, because we used to go to the cinema every Sunday.
Well, he was probably just glad that you weren't, trying to get him roped into doing more episodes of Jack Bomb.
My name's Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jack Bomb.
Listen to previous pod.
We used to go to the cinema every Sunday, and then whenever I joined college and met Claire, I stopped going to the cinema with my dad because I don't really know why.
Going with Claire.
Well, me and Claire didn't go to class; I just went to the cinema. So it was nice for me and him to go do something and watch a film.
You have to bring Claire though.
Who's Max?
Why is he mad?
He's crazy.
Is he really angry?
I haven't seen the first one. What's it about? It's okay, Claire doesn't listen to this. Yeah, so it was nice to bring my dad to a proper man's film, even though it's a very feminist movie in a way. But it always sticks in my mind of being like, bringing my dad and being like,
it's feminism for lads.
Yeah, I was like, come on, we go see something that's fucking proper class. Because there's like no other way to describe. Well, there is. You can go philosophical and be like, it's a really masterpiece of cinema, but just Furious is just fucking class. know what I mean? It's like, if you describe it and it's just, they drive to a place, they go, oh no, best way, drive back again. You'd be like, that sounds shit. But somehow, it's class.
It's what, 2 hours?
Yeah.
2 hours. Just basically, pretty much a 2 hour chase movie. Bar a little bit of opening narration from not Mel Gibson, but Tom Hardy, now as Mad Max. And is it Max? Not Wachowski. No, that's from fucking Monsters Inc. What's Max's surname?
I don't know.
Maybe his first name is just Mad. You know, he was married in the first Mad Max. Do you Mad?
Like Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah. I don't know. I the name somewhere. It's not Wachowski, but it's something like that.
Is it Maximus?
Aurelius?
Fuck, I don't know.
Anyway, message in. Yes.
Yeah, please.
It's clearly not Mike Wachowski from Monsters Inc. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that point.
All I can think about now is Mad Max working in Monsters Inc. where he comes in the child's bedroom with a shotgun. Where's the Aquacola? I would like that.
If you're listening, Pixar, that's our idea.
That's our idea.
We've got that. We're still waiting on more Netflix money. If Netflix want to send us more money, we'll make that movie.
Yeah.
But it's only Mel Gibson in it.
Oh,
Not
God.
Tom Hardy.
Mel Gibson breaking into bedrooms. I don't want to quote his
No.
his famous
No.
rampage.
No, that will have to go back to Birdsong from Big Brother. Yeah, what do you think? He'll just open up the door and it'll just be. I can't even do it. The Birdsong. We can't do
Max, what are you doing here? You.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Max. Proud Max. Where were we?
I thought this was not the Rumble.
This is not the ramble. Well, we're specifically rambling about one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fury
So
Road.
your dad and you went to see the cinema. Went to see the film. What do you think?
He was like, that's class. And I was like, rightfully so. Yeah, Fury Road to me is like, it is a real eye-opener because, you know, whenever you're like in the film and you're kind of like, you want to talk about film in like a artistic way or whatever. But
at the same time, you want to go, there's a fucking fella with a guitar and it's a flamethrower and that's fucking class.
I know I rarely get that feeling in movies because I know a lot of people don't like Transformers and
How do you
stuff.
think that guy got that job? I don't mean in the movie.
In the world?
In the world. Do you think he just kind of showed up at Al Joe's camp? Well, what can you do? Well, I can play guitar.
It's like, because isn't his name in the world the Doofer? Which is what my granny calls the door. Close the Doofer, will you?
First name Doofer, Mister. Sorry, first name Mister, second name Doofer. But imagine just walking up and just be like, all right, Joe. Not Joe McElroy, by the way. You know, what do you bring to our little encampment? I play guitar. Well, a lot of them play guitar. My guitar is a flamethrower. You're fucking hard, mate.
Also, I'm blind. I'm really good on a bungee cord.
Yeah. I just, because I'm going to say something, right?
Yeah.
Because I was talking to Joe about this because Joe was on the TV show last week.
Not a Morton Joe. But
No.
Joe McElroy.
Joe McElroy. It is Joe McElroy this time. But
The Arspert.
yeah, the R-Spurt. And I saw Fury Road twice in the cinema. First time, just was like, fuck, this is amazing. And second time, I was like, it's a bit like you with Joker. But I figured it out after 2 viewings. I was like, did I really like that? Was that a masterpiece? Or was it actually a mess of a film and just the visuals just compensated for it? And second time, I was like, no, I fucking love this film. And then didn't see it for a while, and then I think it was on Channel 4 and watched it on the TV at home, and I had a really underwhelming experience. And I was like, is this a film? And I know this sounds like a really arsey thing to say, but this is a thing. Is this a film that's just for the big screen? And the comparison I made when I was talking to Joe was, I said, it reminds me a bit of Gravity. You know, George Clooney, Sandra Bullock. Seen it in the cinema twice. Loved it. Loved it in 3D. I remember watching it at home and going, this film's boring.
Would you say that Gravity's a bit of a letdown?
Yeah. Other than that sequence which I still love, and then I love the little companion short to it. It's when Sandra Bullock is talking to the guy on Earth who's singing to his daughter, and then there's the short where it gives it from his point of view, and he's talking to Sandra Bullock. That sequence is great, whatever format you watch it. But I just find Gravity a completely underwhelming experience at home, and I was a bit worried because I haven't watched it since then, and rewatched it for the pod, and I was like, okay, normal service has resumed. Yes, I fucking love this film.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because it's a bit like when we talked before about the Naked Gun movies. What a weird fucking tangent this is going down. We are going to need someone to sing Edith Piaf in a moment. But like when the Naked Gun, what was the TV series that was
Police Squad.
Police Squad. They admitted when they did Police Squad, it's like there was so much going on screen. They were like, fuck, we have to do this in the cinema screen because sight gags and stuff were getting lost.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love Naked Gun, but I was worried, it's like, maybe it's just my TV's just got slightly bigger now. But I was like watching it at home the first time at my parents' house years ago when it was probably out 2-3 years after it was out. Watching it's like all the madness of everything. It's like there's without the big screen. It's like, has it lost its impact? And then coming back to what you said, it literally is just drive out. We're going to the green place. Oh, here actually, I'll go back. But rewatching it for the pod, I was like, no, I fucking love this film, and just love the fact that it's an IMDb fact that I think it's 80% is done practically, and it's just the stuff. The madness of what's going on screen, you can understand. So I know we're kind of being rambling all over the place. Tom Hardy, I think in particular, and Charlize Theron were like, during the making of this film, like, what the fuck have we signed up for?
Yeah.
Because he shot it chronologically.
Yeah.
So it's shot in order.
And there was no script, really.
He was coming from storyboards.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that's, from an actor's point of view, particularly Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron. Like, Charlize Theron has probably got more dialogue. Well, she thinks she does have more dialogue.
She does, yeah.
Than Max. You can see from an actor's point of view, if you can't really picture what the film you're making, and you've gone up to the director going, where's the script? Just look at those wee pretty pictures, son. Look at that. Look at that wee car. That wee car. Just a wee flick book here. Hang on.
It's going into a big storm.
Yeah.
Where's the storm, George?
Oh, do you know what?
In my head.
Do you know what? As I say, come back to that point. I hadn't watched that film in ages. That storm sequence,
So good.
so good. Just the point where they're driving through it. Not even just the visuals of coming up to it, and then the point where they go into amazing.
It's funny that like a normal action movie will end a movie with that.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're just going to start it with a big
Yeah.
storm.
But coming back to that point, you've seen this umpteen times.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Did you have that when you watched it at home? A sense of like, it sounds like I'm being down in the film. I'm not, in the sense that it is a film in the world we live in now of streaming, where you're watching stuff week in, week out at home. Here's a film, and so many films I know are designed for the big screen, but here's a film in particular, visually, in the way that it's constructed, is designed for an IMAX screen. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we didn't have an IMAX screen in Belfast when Fury Road was out. We have one now for Furiosa. I'll definitely be seeing the fucker on the IMAX screen. My head will probably explode.
Yeah.
But I know I'm kind of all over the place and chatting, but did you have that at all when you watched it at home?
Not
No.
really. This is going to surprise you, Jim. I kind of became obsessed with Mad Max whenever Fury Road came out.
How many limited edition steelbooks have you got?
I actually only bought it on Blu-ray just the other day.
Okay.
Really, but I have it on DVD.
Just nestled in between your 8 copies of Joker.
What shall I watch tonight? And then I got like the coffee table art book.
Yeah.
I got the tie-in comic books. I got the video game, which is great. I don't know if you've ever
I
read
don't know
that.
why it went really loud there, but yes, it is, yeah.
And then really dug into the old movies and dug into George Miller, because before Mad Max, Fury Road, the only thing I knew George Miller from was like Be a Pig in the City and the Happy Feet movie. And I was like, why is the happy?
Not even the Witches of Eastwick.
That's too early for me. Even back then.
I just remember I wasn't allowed to watch that movie because it was too naughty.
It is too naughty. I watched it last year and I was like, oh my.
My mom was like, you can't watch that film. It's very naughty. Isn't it, as Claire would say, Susan Sarandon?
Who's Megatron?
Yeah. Cher, isn't it? Cher.
Cher.
Susan Sarandon.
And it's not Kim Cattrall. It's Goldie Hawn.
Yes.
Yeah. Three gorgeous women. And our Jack.
Yeah.
I would love to see Jack Nicholson in a Mad Max movie.
As Max.
I've gone really crazy. And that's not a good impression. George Miller to me is. It seems that. I don't know. It seems now because they're like doing the posters like from the mad mind of George Miller, and then you watch Lorenzo's Oil.
Yeah,
and you're like, he is mad. I really like Lorenzo's Oil.
I haven't watched it in years, but I do like Lorenzo's Oil
with fucking Nick Nolte. This oil's making my child good. Is that a good impression?
No. None of our impressions are good. This is the rule.
Liam Neeson might be appearing.
No.
Liam Neeson would be good in Mad Max.
That's Furiosa.
Shave my head. Now we're getting way off point.
Yeah.
Mad Max.
So coming back to point then, you hadn't seen the first three before you seen Fury Road?
No.
Okay.
Which is weird. I always knew about them and had never watched them, and then I got the trilogy box set. Mad Max 1 is
totally different film.
Totally different film.
Totally different world.
It's like this world is a wee bit messy, and there's some biker gangs. Is not nuts, and Mel Gibson's just making love to his wife, and then his mate dies, and he's like, "Guess it's time to get nuts."
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Some great stunts, and learning about George Miller making that movie is so impressive.
Yeah,
where like he was like an ambulance driver, wasn't he a doctor?
Made in a micro budget as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I got deep into Ozploitation movies back then. What's the second one? Road Warrior?
Road Warrior is amazing.
Fantastic.
Because Joe made the point, so I'm not going to steal, Joe McElroy made the point. I think Thunderdome is the messiest of the three, and it's baggy. There's parts of it's amazing, Tina Turner, and there's parts of it aren't so amazing. And I haven't watched Thunderdome, Beyond the Thunderdome, in quite some time. But I would every so often, maybe every couple of years, I'd find myself watching Mad Max. I like Mad Max in the sense that it's just a lean, efficient, grungy movie, as I say, shot for very little money and clearly designed to be sold to an American audience.
Yeah.
And just in that sense of you're watching, as we've talked before, like a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Shallow Grave. You just see a filmmaker, kind of a talented filmmaker starting out. And I think he'd maybe done a couple of shorts by that point.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And you just see, okay, there's a talented filmmaker. And then you see when he's got a bit of backing with money, what you then do with Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. And, such a brilliant film.
It's so good. It's such a... It also sets up that, like, Max is a fairy tale you tell around...
He's got that old grey streak through his hair.
Yeah, he's sexy, isn't he? With the leather.
Yeah.
It's Master Blaster the third one, isn't it? It's the fucking... I don't want... It's this PC, the midget. On the big man.
Message in if you think that's PC.
Beyond Thunderdome has one of my favourite moments in a Tina Turner song. Do you know, like, the theme? It's really funny because it's We Don't Need Another Hero.
Which he directed as well.
Oh, yeah. Great video. We don't need another hero. We don't need another way home. And then beat. And then she goes, oh, yeah, the name of the movie. Thunderdome.
Sounds exactly just like her.
Call in if you think my Tina Turner impression is as good as my Liam Neeson.
Yeah. I think so.
And then he just... Well, his producing partner died during or just before Beyond Thunderdome, and he kind of lost... not lost the like love for that world, but it kind of he went off and did the Babe movies, Lorenzo's Oil.
Well, didn't he co-direct the first one and then solely directed the second Babe
Yes.
movie? And you see a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
two.
And then what was is it 3,000 Years of Longing? And then Lorenzo's Oil, then Happy Feet 1 and 2, then Fury Road, then what's the fucking genie one?
Oh, I remember looking at this when I had it in front. I'm refusing to be the person to go on IMDb and give up. I know the film you're talking about. Then, say, comes back with Fury Road. It's been a film that's been in his head, and I'm just going to get the name of the book because I've started to listen to the book because I have a lazy eye. I find it easier to listen to audiobooks as opposed to reading a lot. I do like to read.
Is this the Blood and
Blood,
Chrome
Sweat and Chrome. Brilliant book, which is just basically interviews. And as I come back to that point I was talking to, you get a real sense of the tension that existed between Hardy and Charlize Theron. And I know, like, was it famously Tom Hardy at Cannes after seeing the film was like, I have to apologise to George Miller because I was a bit of a dick because I think you get the impression, I think he's open about this. He thought while he was making this is going to be a big pile of shit. And I guess if you're out there in the desert and, you know, giving up so many days to shoot, grueling shoot from memory, if you can't see the big picture, you're going to be sitting there going, the fuck, I could be, I don't know, trying to think of some shit. What do you call that terrible one he did with Chris Pratt?
Oh, This Means War.
I could be making This Means War 2.
Yeah.
This Means Wars. Instead of this. And the studios were not happy with it because I think it went over budget. It was over in terms of the actual shoot itself, went longer than it should. There was all problems on location. I think they had to relocate.
Well, the whole history of it is that they were going to film it back in 2001.
Yeah.
And then 9/11 happened.
Yes.
And that made the Australian economy crash.
Yeah.
And then they were going to shoot it in Africa, in the desert in Africa. And then something that hadn't happened in like 70 years, it rained.
Toto always. Toto were raging.
And then the whole desert turned to mud.
Yeah.
And then Miller was like, fuck it, I'm just going to make it an anime. Like, it's beyond cursed. And then they finally got it together, 2013, started filming. And even then, Hardy was like, not that famous. He was coming off like Bronson and maybe Inception.
I suppose, Batman, Dark Knight Rises as well.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
He loves speaking with a mask in front of his face.
Mate, have you seen the trailer for Bike Riders?
I can't make out a fucking word he says.
Hey kid, go on the bike. And then fucking Austin Butler's like, hey, I want to be part of your bike ride, Jim. And you're like,
it's literally, you know, the guys from South Park. That's what it sounds like.
I can't wait to watch that movie.
I'm gonna go specifically to the screen. It's like, can I have the subtitle version, please? Please, yeah.
I went and seen, I never brought this up in the TV show a few weeks ago. I went and seen Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes in a subtitle. Really helped. So it really helped.
Come on, monkeys.
Keep on monkeying around. And then, like you say, like shooting it in the desert, no real script, going off storyboards. Tom Hardy's in a truck with fucking like 7 supermodels, and they're all like, "I'm in Prada this week," and he's like, "Would you fuck up?" Charlize Theron, shaved head, taking it dead serious. He's like, "Fuck, all right, you."
They did not get on.
No,
I think they've kind of made up, or I think I read somewhere, and it wasn't IMDb, just so listeners know. I think they have made up posthumously.
but then it's also like,
We were in a hit movie that we didn't realize was going to be a hit. Yeah, we could come back and do Fury Road 2.
Yeah.
Well, I know apparently it's in production. Mad Max, The Wasteland.
in the Wasteland, yeah. Obviously, we haven't seen Furiosa, so we don't know if there's any Mad Max nods in that. But like George Miller's in his 80s, is, you know, I've seen him in interviews, and it's not like he's like fucking the crypt keeper, like on death's door. But it's like, how long can he do this? Like, how long can he go out into the desert and be like, let's blow up shit? Because I hope he does until he's like,
Fuck me, I could do that until as long as I'm compos mentis, I could do that well into my 90s. Let's just, as long as I have got a comfy seat to sit in and direct from, I can say, go right, lads. We're gonna go down to Donegal and blow shit up. Let's go.
Donegal Mad Max.
I'd love to see that.
You got that aqua cola.
You love that Aqua Cola, son. You just must sell that in the shop.
She's mediocre.
Marty's back. I didn't even realise. But yeah, do you know what? We have got this far, and rewatching it for this pod, everyone always talks about, well, Hardy gets 20 lines or something. I think Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy has less lines of dialogue. Again, we haven't seen it.
But Hardy gets the best thumbs up in cinematic history.
Yes, that's true. We've mentioned Charlize Theron, who just is such an it's that thing where you go, it's a Mad Max movie, but Furiosa is a much more interesting character, and you're like, it's clearly that's why they've decided to go the way they have. But you know who I think is my favourite character, or my favourite actor? I think who doesn't get enough credit for their performance in Fury Road, Nicholas Hoult.
I thought you were going to say, what is it, Fictus Erectus? The guy that's like, I had a baby brother. He was perfect in every way.
He had 3 legs and everything.
But yeah, Nicholas Hoult is so good as nuts.
Because I love his character's journey. He goes from being someone who's a devout believer in this weird kind of demigod / leader that is Joe.
Big and Morton Joe.
Apologies, I had forgotten the Immortan bit. And you see that he's in love with one of these brides.
Because you would be like,
fuck yeah. And I'm just getting, apologies, I have given in to peer pressure. Because I always forget that Rose Huntington Whitley was in this. Because she'd just come off Transformers, where she's terrible.
Have you heard what happened to her on Fury Road?
No.
They had to take out all of her eyelashes because she got some sort of like chemical disease in her eyelashes from the sand. So they had to pluck out all her eyelashes.
Still would.
It's so funny that she was like, ugh, had to work with Michael Bay. He's such a misogynist. Give me them tweezers. I'll show you a bad time on set.
Because it's weird, like I'm just looking through you. So you've got the likes of the brides. You've got Zoe Kravitz.
Yep.
You've got Rose Huntington Whitley, as I've mentioned. Riley Keough, I always get her surname wrong. Riley Keough, who I didn't realise. And then you have Abby Lee, and I think there's another one as well. Hard gig, you having to sit in a wee van with them.
I know.
Poor old Tom.
Oh, it's sick. All these beautiful women. What am I going to do?
But what I love about it, and I know I'm very cautious, we're also 2 lads having the chat.
What's happening?
But as you've mentioned, it's a very feminist and empowering feminist movie.
Yeah.
Because that's the idea, is like there's so many things in it. People talk about, it's a chase movie. It's essentially 2 hours, go there, we got to get back. But there's ideas of feminism, there's environmentalism all in there, and it's that sense of what you can do with a blockbuster.
Do you think the girl that is in the nip at the top of the tower and she has to come down the rope, do you think she got rope burn on her fucking fupa as she came down the rope?
I doubt it.
She was like,
maybe she likes it. This is feminism, mate. I mean, I had my mind blown a couple of months ago on this pod when I was talking to the lovely Victoria Brown and Maria McQuillan, and I always thought it was just boys that had sexy fantasies about cartoon characters. And Victoria Brown corrected me going, no, girls do it just the same. So maybe she liked the way that rope felt.
Now, when you say that girls have...
I think Victoria fancied Hercules.
Okay, yes. That's what I was like, did they fancy girl cartoons or boy cartoons? Because boy cartoons were like, here.
You can like whatever you like.
Do you ever see
But I was always like going, because, boys are pervs.
Do you ever see Tom from Tom and Jerry?
I was always a Jerry, mate.
I'll put some holes in those cheese. That's terrible. Keep it in. Cut
that. But yeah, girls can be as pervy as boys.
Well,
this is the modern world we live in, Adam.
I'd love how we went from feminism to be like, see, girls are fucking dirtbags.
See, cartoon characters. Which cartoon character did you have a crush on when you were younger?
Lola Bunny, obviously.
Bugs Bunny when he was in drag, just to steal a Kevin Smith joke.
100%. And then probably probably Marge when she has her hair down.
Oh, you naughty boy.
I'm just saying. You know, her and Homer get up to some fucking business.
Rogue and X-Men for me.
Oh yeah, for
Classic X-Men, not the new
no.
de-cheeked Rogue from 97.
We want Big Hoop.
Yeah.
Then probably Mary Jane from the cartoon. Black Cat, obviously. Right, not Fury Road.
Yeah, back to Fury Road, because this is a dangerous precedent. Here, Jim, you wouldn't just leave the studio for 10 minutes?
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, indeed. So, yes, feminism.
Yes. Well, they have like those chastity belts.
Yeah.
That have the teeth on them, and obviously it's symbolism of them cutting them off and being free. With Rosie, whatever her name is,
Transformers girl.
With no eyelashes. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
And she gets fucking emptied.
I don't know why we're laughing.
No. Although it is one of those things because it is the Tom Hardy looks to be like, oh no, and then gives her the best thumbs up in cinematic history to be like, what's happening? And then literally seconds later she gets fucking domed by the truck.
But poor old Mortem Joe, he gets upset.
He's raging. Of course, played by classic villain from the first movie, Toe Cutter. He's back.
Yep.
As a Morton Joe.
And there's a new actor playing him in Furiosa, because sadly that actor's passed away.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen it, we don't know how big a role that is.
Yeah. He's got a big role in the comic books, but obviously the comic books can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I would like to see, because do you ever see in Fury Road whenever they're like, here's the guy from Bullet Town, and here's the other guy that has like the weird nose,
Yeah.
who was the Prime Minister of Australia. Do you know that?
Yes.
The guy with the gammy foot. Like the Bullet Town guy with the judge, jury, and executioner, or like just a judge made of bullets, wig made of bullets. You're like, they're doing so much world building here, and then it's not like any other movie at the time that was like, you know, he wears those bullets because he's from Bullet Town. You know, he has a big foot because he's gluttonous. Well,
George Miller's a director and a writer, I think, that in the kind of Nolan sense is like, we don't have to spoon feed you everything. You can put two and two together and, you know, just go with it.
Well, that's the best thing about Fury Road. Like, whenever they go into like the dark area, the swamp area that is like the Greenland, and then it shows you like those like people on stilts.
Yeah.
For one shot, you're like, what are they up to? Which, if you look it up in the lore, they are crow fishers.
Such a nerd.
I know. I'm a big lore man, you know that. Also, that is one of the best bits in Fury Road when they stop the truck and the guy is shooting the guns in the air, and Furiosa's like, give me the gun, and like puts it on Max's shoulder, and then she shoots the glass, and the glass goes into the guy's eyes, and he's like, "Burr!" And he's just shooting like a madman. Fantastic. Should we get to the end of Fury Road? Just like, it's the one thing of Fury Road that I'm like, not that I hate, but I just feel like the all the cars kind of crash. I just feel like there only was one way to end the movie, and I suppose that's it, but it just doesn't really give me the satisfaction.
Well, I guess in that sense, because you've had such a film, like, particularly, not even on the chase side, but the chase back, where there's just literally everything being through at that screen. There's guys in stilts coming across on pole vaulting onto the truck and XYZ, and you've got Mortem Joe, and you've got his wee son who's just sad about his wee brother. All the stuff going on. It's that sense like, that's over. Right, Max?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
I do love the score by Junkie XL.
Yeah.
Especially in that last moment when Furiosa's rising and Max is walking off into the crowd. Always makes my
hand twitch.
I was going to say,
just to fill in listeners, just because it's an audio medium, Adam's just doing that with his hand. It's like, okay,
because I was trying to figure out,
makes your hand rise. Sitting in the sun of behind you, going, for fuck's sake.
It makes my hair stand on end. Is that a saying?
Hand at the same time. Yeah, I know what you mean.
That I fucking just love that last, like, he's just looking up, being like, well, this is just another day for me.
That'll do, pig.
Literally is.
That'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. George
is like, can't use that line. Fuck.
Fuck. Yeah, I really am excited. When this pod goes up, we'll have seen Furiosa, so go check out our letterboxes. Where it's just
I need to get back to doing my letterbox. I've been very lazy. Unsurprisingly, shock horror. Jim doesn't bother doing things. I want to, because you're talking about score, editing, because it's edited by George Miller's wife.
Do you know the story of how long it took her to watch all the footage?
470 hours.
It took her 3 months just to watch the footage.
Yeah. But he wanted her to edit it so it wouldn't look like another action movie.
Yeah.
And boy, does she do the job. I think that's just those kind of, in terms of rule breaking and doing things different, it's the fact that it doesn't look like, if you imagine, yes, there's a lot of quick edits and stuff, but there's also, it's like the thing, weird analogy, Jim, shock horror. It's like when you see in a movie and there's like a big dance sequence, you want the camera to step back and see the dance, as opposed to, let's do a wee close up, cut up of feet, so it's not the person, it's not like Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence dancing, it's somebody. Hello, I'm really burpy. I blame this Red Bull. Sorry, this Aqua Cola. It's not Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. So that's a weird analogy because
they did the dance.
They did the dance, but you know what I mean in that sense of it's like close up, or it's like in Taken 3, where it's like Big Liam, your uncle, just lumbering over a gate or a fence, and it's about oof, oof, oof. This, yeah.
Hello, Jim.
Cut. I love the fact of the film's look, and it's the sense that I think she's edited Furiosa as well.
Yes, she has.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is.
I love that she speeds up footage.
Yeah.
It's like, let's get this over with. Speed that fucking thing up. And also, she cuts away from, like, there's a bit when Max has tattooed on his back by the war boys. Like, fucking, like...
War boys.
Never lose it. Where he has tattooed on his back, like, oh, piss, okay, blood, high octane. And it's like, that's on screen for about 4 seconds.
Why don't somone just, like, started writing their shopping list?
Peas. Chips.
Max, come on with us down the shop, son. Have to bring another. Got that. Also, at the start of the film, what the fuck's Max really going to do when he jumps out onto, you know, when he's trying to escape and he just jumps out onto the big bit of rope? Where's he going to go?
You know, sometimes when you're on the run from war boys, you don't think about what's happening. Hello, what is that thing that they put over his face? It's like a rubber skin color band that they put over his face. And then there's I love Mad Max, but if there's one thing I would take away from it, see that like title, like ding of like the metal and like it's written Fire Mad Max. I'm like, I wish that wasn't in there.
Do I remember the fact, even though I've only watched a couple of days, when he's right at the front of the truck? Because I mean, this is what I love. Like, it's a Mad Max movie, but he's not really in it that much, other than the first half of the film. He's literally just on the front of someone's car.
Yeah.
And isn't he hooked up to their blood?
Yeah, so the blood is into Nux.
Yeah.
And it is funny every time it cuts to Mad Max because he's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Work.
Yeah. It's an amazing film. I don't know if we can, you know, in the confines of the runtime of this pod, do it justice other than going, isn't that bit amazing? Isn't that bit amazing? It's just a film, and I know I was worried about it rewatching it in the sense of the spectacle of it all. If you've never seen Fury Road on the cinema, if you ever get the opportunity, see it. I still think I'll admit, second time round, maybe it's just because my TV's bigger now, it still works, but I think it's just, I come back to a point, shock horror, Jim repeats point previous and umpteen times throughout pod. See Mad Max Fury Road on a big screen. It's, do you know that ad, like, you know, when you have Nicole Kidman just fucking walking around the Odeon going, oh, I love cinema. Oh, I love that cinema chair. Oh, I love the popcorn here. This is worth moments worth paying for. All you need to do is go here. Fucking Mad Max Fury Road. Fucking big Looney Tune sitting in the front of the truck with the guitar and the fucking flamethrower coming out of it going, moments worth paying for.
It is funny that, like, it is, like, Warner Brothers has been in such trouble for years. And it's like they have Mad Max, which is, you know, they could have easily went, we'll make 14 of these.
Yeah.
And George Miller just went, I don't think you will.
I wonder if he must have some kind of sense of creative control
I would say so.
over the property. Otherwise, as you say, you're go because you think of the world that you have now, particularly because I've now started watching Fallout on Prime. It's like you could easily do a TV show.
Oh yeah.
About that, and you could kind of build that world up. You could do a Furiosa TV show. You could do, just a TV show set in that world without any of the aforementioned characters.
Yeah. It's like we said, do you play the video game?
Yeah.
And it's like, that is about Max, but there's so many other interesting things in that game than just...
Well, as you know from my previous escapades, like I still haven't completed Red Dead Redemption 2. I just like driving around the desert.
So do I.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find like an airport that's covered in sand, and you're like, this is cool. That's a whole world building thing that's pretty cool. And it's like stuff like that you could put in a TV show. But my problem with the Fallout TV show is like, it's only going to be inevitable before it becomes something like The Walking Dead, where everything falls apart from the universe and it's just characters being like, I gotta live too. Oh, I'm dead. Oh. Where if you did a Mad Max show, it's kind of like, where do you go before they just... It'd be like, imagine Neighbours, but fuck it, it's all war boys.
I'd pay for that.
I'd pay for that as well.
Yeah, I'd say Neighbours, but set in the Mad Max world. Yeah.
Good.
As long as you get Kylie Minogue back. And Jason.
Gotta shave Kylie's head.
Yeah.
But she'd be well, yeah.
On this pro-feminist pod, still would.
A Morton arse. Kylie in her shorts.
Yeah, and you'd have Jason Donovan as Morton Joe.
As one of the polyps on Morton Joe's
just
back.
Coming around just covered in chrome.
Just before we wrap up the Fury Road talk, what do you think of the big girls getting milked? That's always one of those moments that I'm like, what's this about?
All right, George, calm down, son.
Imagine him showing like the sketchbook. What's the next scene? And he's just like, load of women getting milked. And I'm like, all right, you.
Calm down. We didn't watch Babe Station for half an hour. It is because I forgot about that sequence, and then I was watching it, and Amber, my lovely wife, is not a big fan of Fury Road, and it was on, and she just happened to be in the room at the time. She just looked up, was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do some crocheting." Like, but it's amazing, and it's the world, and who doesn't like mother's milk? Is that what it is? It's mother's milk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother's milk.
I thought you were talking about your man from The Boys. It is weird that, like, breast milk has become culturally talked about again.
Yeah.
Because, like, Homelander drinks it. The Boys.
He loves it.
I can't get enough of it.
He's just walking around the place going, got milk. And do you know what it all goes back to? Remember that episode of Friends when Ross didn't want to drink breast milk?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, remember Little Britain when the guy was like, Betty?
Betty! My lovely wife can verify this. There's a shop in Victoria Square, BTY, and anytime, I think it's BTY, anytime I walk past it, I just have kind of the compulsion to go, Betty! Betty! You're like, the guy said in the shop, would you fuck off, man?
What do they sell?
I don't know. Diddy milk. Be rude not to.
Big Diddy milk.
Diddy milk. But, who doesn't like a bit of, Diddy milk?
Not me.
Yeah.
Not me.
You did at some point.
I don't know if I was. I suppose it's never really a conversation I've had with my ma.
Chat to her about it tonight.
Happy birthday, Adam. I'll text her. She's like, happy birthday, son.
Betty!
By the way.
Betty! This pod took a turn.
It did.
So, yeah, I think we can both agree. A film worth, definitely more than pixels on a screen.
100%. It's also one of those movies that, like, in 100 years will still be talked about. It's interesting to live in a time that this movie will be talked about in 100 years. I think.
Unless we're all dead.
Do you mean like the world?
Yeah. Not just us, not just you and me.
Someone just there's like it's like Fallout when they're like walking through an old home and they're like, who lived in this place? And it's just a rack of fucking Joker Blu-rays and one Fury Road. What maniac lived in here?
Actually, and it's a Fury Road Blu-ray case, but he opened it up and it's Joker inside.
This madman.
Just imagine 100 years from now, to someone randomly listening to this pod, some alien somewhere. Tell us about human culture. Here, lad, Diddy Milk. Who is this Martin Scorsese?
Why has he got half-price sausages?
Who is the Arspert? Just imagine if everything else got destroyed and it was just this podcast was the lasting legacy for humanity.
Like it's like the one like thing that got out up into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They're like, take us to
The
your lead.
Banderflick satellite when I eventually get my act together and start getting shit done. And me and Elon just fucking team up.
Take me to your leaders. Adam and Jim and the Arspert. Aliens are all showing their holes. Joe's like, yep.
That's a good hope. Well, Joe would be technically dead, but would have like a little,
His head in a jar.
yeah. Or I'd have created an AI Joe.
Oh, AI Joe.
AI Joe, whose just only rule is to judge arses.
That would be so good.
Be like the Portal in Dublin.
It's just holes.
Just this big face, just walking around judging, just Joe. What can I say? I think on that rambling note, we should start to bring this pod to a close. So we've been very positive about Fury Road. Just before we go, Adam, we mentioned Big Liam a couple of times on this pod.
And
I know you've been talking about how well you've been sleeping of late.
Yeah.
But have you been disturbed at any time during the night by any unwanted phone calls?
Well, I actually had my phone on airplane mode, but he's my next of kin, so it actually went through. Luckily, I recorded it.
Okay.
And
it's convenient.
It is very convenient. And that might be brought up on the actual
Okay.
recording. But let's just say that my Uncle Liam wanted to say a special happy birthday to his favourite nephew.
Hello, happy birthday to you. Hello, Uncle Liam. Happy birthday to you. Okay, happy birthday, Adam. Happy birthday to you. Are you right, son? Are you doing well? Thanks for that, Liam. It's not quite my birthday, but thanks very much. I guess I could put this on the podcast. That would be great. I've been getting a lot of phone calls from people in Hollywood that have been listening to the podcast. Now, is this people in Hollywood with 2 L's or 1? Because Joe from Banderflick got confused with that a few weeks ago. I'm not too sure. It's hard to tell when you're on the mobile because you can't see their face. Yeah, that's usually how phones work. Anyway, I thought I'd ring you up and give you one of my classic jokes for your birthday. That would be my little gift from me to you. Cheers, Liam. Thanks for, thinking of me and giving me a gift. But it also seems that this is, a bi-weekly feature on the podcast and you're contractually obliged to be telling me a joke. So, there's a bishop in Notre Dame in France. Have you ever been? No, never been. Lovely place. Anyway, there's a bishop and he puts out an advertisement for a bell ringer. And all day long, people come and go. And they're showing the bishop how, they pull the ropes and make these beautiful tunes with the bells. And the bishop, very impressed with all these people, and he's about to give it up for the day, when this man with no arms comes in. And the bishop says, "You're welcome to apply, but how are you going to ring the bell with no arms?" And all of a sudden, this man starts headbutting the bell and makes the most beautiful tune that you've ever heard in all your life. And the bishop thinks, this is great, I found the perfect man for the job. But then all of a sudden, this guy trips over and falls out the window right to his death onto the ground outside in France, outside the front of the chapel. So the bishop runs down the stairs to see the young fella, and he's dead, unfortunately, and there's a crowd gathered round him. and he runs over to the young boy, and someone in the crowd says, "Does anyone know who this is?" And the bishop says, "I didn't get his name, but his face rung a bell." As a birthday gift, that is spectacular, Liam. Thank you for calling me up and telling me that joke. No worries, Adam. I'll be calling you in another 2 weeks if this goes all well. It seems to be, it's more like than the Cilla Black, but Cilla Black, is that girl that was on Doctor Who? Yes, it was. I didn't enjoy that latest episode. It didn't have the same flavour as the Bad Wolf days back in the old Christopher Eccleston, Didn't know you were a Doctor Who fan. I actually applied to be Doctor Who back in the old 2005 reboot. Oh, yeah? Yes, but I didn't know what I was being a doctor of, so I got very confused at the time, and I think I lost my watch and I didn't make it to the interview. Sounds like classic you. Anyway, Liam, must be going because this has been dragging on. But anyway, thanks. You want to call me back in 2 weeks? Yes, and of course, from one Neeson to another. Goodbye, my friend. Bye.
I didn't have Liam down as a Doctor Who fan.
He actually told me, he texted me and said that his favourite Doctor was Dr. Zhivago. So I don't think he's actually seen Doctor Who.
Oh, well, poor old Liam. But yeah, a couple of things just want to pick up from that. I like how Liam seems to have the same joke back catalogue as my late father. My late father seems to told me a lot of similar jokes so far from what I've heard. And secondly, for somebody who's getting woke up, you're very, chipper. First thing you're like, hello?
I'm like a cat.
Yeah, hello, how are you? It's me, Adam Neeson. So on that note, I think we'll bring this pod to a close. So thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks, Jim.
Happy birthday once again. You've had happy birthday sang to you by Martin Scorsese, not that one, our one. And you've had happy birthday sang to you by Liam Neeson. So I think we should finish this pod with happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Adam, happy birthday to you. Bye.
Bye-bye.